Welcome back to another episode of our GODSU Wednesday Icon Talk. I am His Excellency Dakar, CEO of Dakar Marketing Tools, Director of Operations at GODSU, and your MC and a host on our God Success Teach and Pray. And in today's episode, we're highlighting out of our December 2021 Empower You Conference, Masterclass 5. Hidden Facts of Africans in the Bible. Moderator is Her Excellency Attorney Reverend Dr. Diane Moore Eubanks. Our panelists are Vice Chancellor Dr. Willis Eubanks, Thurman Brown, Chaplain, Dean Reverend Dr. Leo Pickett, Chaplain, and Assistant Dean Bishop Dr. Reginald Benjamin, Chaplain. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
And we're going to be talking about some more hidden facts, Africans in the Bible. Do you notice anything different? Do you see perhaps an Egyptian queen or a goddess just beside me? Well, guess what? She is also our chancellor, surprise, and our moderator for Hidden Facts, Africans in the Bible. The Right Honorable Her Excellency Reverend Dr. Attorney Diane Moore Eubanks is the founder, visionary, and chancellor of Global Ovid Day Seminary and University and its 7 pillars, and she will be taking over the rest of this panel. Blessings to you, Chancellor.
Thank you so much, Her Excellency Cairo Eubanks. And this is an exciting panel. If someone can pass the GODSU African American Bible, that's supposed to be right here. If I can get that. Awesome. And we have a brand new Bible that we are launching today. We're so pleased. We're so happy. And it's called the African Diaspora History Bible, the GODSU African Diaspora History Bible. And in that Bible, as usual, we will have our various students from GODSU here. And we're also going to have great Africans from the Bible. And I'm going to talk about a couple of those as we bring our folks in. Can we have all our folks so we can get started? I am so excited to have everyone on here. I know y'all weren't expecting this. You thought this was like your what is it now? Your college graduation. Everybody's all boring and look the same. Not here. You're with God's University, honey. And so we do things with excellence. We go out of our way to make sure that you are not only educated, but you're also entertained. I think Bill Cosby called it edutainment, education with entertainment in it. Awesome. Great. All righty. So let's go ahead and let me introduce our panelists. Make sure I have everyone's bio. Great. All right. Hidden facts, Africans in the Bible. Why is it hidden facts? Because many people don't know about it. So we're here today to teach you all about these hidden facts. We have Dean Reverend Dr. Leo Pickett, ED, Doctor of Education, Chaplain, CEO of Leo's Worship and Praise. There's a handsome man of God. GODSU Dean, Chaplaincy and Honors Program, and GODSU Director of Music, Dr. Pickett, an ordained elder in the Church of God, is a retired professor of music and communication. He's also an actor, making movies, training films, documentaries, and commercials. And you can see him every morning on the God Success Teach and Pray. He mentors elementary and junior high school boys and offers music therapy and health and nutrition advice to seniors through his nonprofit. He's a recipient of the 2014 Distinguished Alumni Award from Lincoln University of Missouri's Music Therapy. And to my right, this handsome young man, let me move over a little bit so they can see more of you, sir. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm going to share you so everybody can see you in all your gorgeousness. And yes. This young'un here got married to me. When I meet you, 1982? 82. Man, I'm aging myself. Really? All right.
Working on 40 years.
Working on 40 years. So His Excellency, Dr. Wallace Eubanks is the Vice Chancellor here at Global Over Day Seminary University and was the only Vice Chancellor only until this year when we brought on a couple other interim Vice Chancellors. He's also a servant leader serving as public trustee on Miramar's Police Pension Board and on his local PTA and SAC, that's the Student Advisory Committee. He mentors young people by serving as a Goodwill Ambassador for New Future Foundation, Inc. And in fact, he's traveling to Jamaica, to the Jamaican chapter, UNNGO NFFI JA, in a couple days to give students tablets. In December of 2018, he was a recipient of the Made Man Distinguished Leader and Advocate for Change Award. He was among 60 men who were recognized nationally and internationally. Currently, he's becoming a subject matter expert on cybersecurity, teaching courses in the following areas: A+, Security Plus, and Pen Test Plus. He's the CEO and founder of Take Action Now IT, a cybersecurity company specialized in cybersecurity and IT training. He is interested in increasing the number of careers in cybersecurity, and he especially wants to focus on our community because the average salary for cybersecurity specialists is $75,000. And for more information, you can reach him at 1-800-701-0954, extension 117. And to my right, oh my goodness, he has his background up now, Chaplain Thurman Brown. Thurman Brown is a therapist. You thought I didn't see you, didn't you? Therapist, certified life coach who was born in Queens, New York. He's a proud graduate of Ashford University BA, as well as University of Rockies, where he has a master's in mental health and human administration. He recently is partnering as our director, dealing with special programs for those with addictions, with writing or very eighth chaplaincy program, which will deal with substance abuse and addiction. That's the name of the chaplaincy program, and he's delivering that to us by the end of the year. You talk about a man of action. I've already been getting calls from people at the United Nations about working with him already, sir. Just so you do know, we got that call already from Dr. Amina Ali, who was introduced to us by none other than Queen Mother Dolores Blakely, who she's a mentee with. He was heavily impacted by addiction, so he understands how intimate it can be and how it can replace the things we need to live a balanced life. In his work with clients, he takes the approach of enhancement to change. The stages of change are the most effective approach, and his organization is a tool that opens greater doors and helps to create the experiences needed to prepare others to open those doors. You have to be ready, people. And our assistant dean, the man of God, when you hear his voice, it's like the Holy Spirit just rolling out of his throat. He is so impactful, so distinguished. There's none other than Bishop Dr. Reginald Benjamin. You see him to the top of our computer. He's a chaplain. He's a pastor, CEO of Lighthouse Christian Fellowship Center. He and his wife, Valentina, have 4 adult children and 3 grandchildren. He is a parliamentarian for the South Georgia Homeless Coalition, treasurer for Valdosta Area Ministerial Alliance, information manager for Concerned Clergy of Valdosta, and a volunteer chaplain for Valdosta Prison Transition Center. And many times you'll have to reschedule things because he says, I'm doing my chaplain work. And that's what he's done. And he's come to GODSU as a chaplain and immediately started working in the prisons. And immediately he is stationed there. And every week he is there. He's currently pursuing his PhD in Christian counseling. And that will be finished shortly at Newburgh Theological Seminary. So without further ado, I want to make sure that everyone knows that in the GODSU Bible, we call it the GODSU African Diasporan Bible. We have all these stories of Black people in the Bible. Did you hear that song? Jesus is a Black man. All right. So with that said, I am going to go to each of my panelists and ask them, based on their studies, based on their experiences, talk to us about the Blacks you've held in the Bible, you've seen in the Bible, you've experienced, and you know it's real. I'm going to start with Bishop Dr. Reginald Benjamin. Please give us 3 minutes of talking about your studies and your experience and what you know about this topic.
Thank you, Your Grace. As a matter of fact, it's ironic that you asked me that, because when I was growing up, I had a very low self-esteem. For me, I didn't find Black people in the Bible. It wasn't portrayed. And so I thought maybe God wanted us to be like subservient to white people. I really did. And it took me almost to being a grown man to find out that wasn't the will of God at all. And then by having gone to college, I had a white professor of all the people. He told me this. Well, he told the class this. He said, if you would take a person from every country in the world, put them in one classroom, don't give them anything to look at, don't give them any kind of assessment or evaluation, but you tell every one of those persons to draw a picture of Jesus. He said every one of them will draw a picture of Jesus based on their ethnicity. So that got my mind to thinking like gears, putting gears in motion, if you will. And so I said, well, maybe then this thing is not what I thought it was growing up. Maybe God does have something for us, Black people. So I began to research myself. And again, I said, it's ironic that you should ask me this, because I was invited to a Christmas dinner last week as the guest speaker. They wanted me to do a devotional. And I asked for permission not to do a traditional devotional. And I told them in advance, back in 1998, I created a Christmas Jeopardy game, because a lot of us don't know the real truth about Christmas. And so one of the questions that I asked was, who was the wise men? A specific question. Who were they? And where did they come from? Because they had bothered me for years. And come to find out in my research, I put Genesis 25 together with Matthew chapter 2 through the unction of Holy Spirit to find out that when Abraham's wife, Sarah, died, he married this Black woman named Keturah. She gave him 12 children, 6 boys and 6 girls. And the Bible lets us know that he didn't want these boys to inherit the blessings of Isaac, so he sent them away to the East Country. Now, here's what bothered me. Why did these guys come from the East to find Jesus? But when I put it together to find out that these boys were descendants of Abraham, and they had come in search for the Messiah. So now I put it together that, whoa, wait a minute. These Black kings came from the country in the East to find the King, Jesus Christ. And I said, okay, well, that's the answer right there. God wants me to know there are Blacks in the Bible. Don't look down on yourself. Don't think hard of it. You know, it's part of your history, but now expand and grow from it. So that's when I started doing my research of Blacks in the Bible.
Wow, that is so interesting. And here at GODSU for the past couple of years, we've done deep research, starting with Genesis and going along with the Bible, the map, the genealogy, and everything. And if you go all the way back, of course, with the 7 tributaries, with you will realize that Eden is in Africa. You know, we did that in detail. So we're very familiar with that. And so if Eden is in Africa, and at that time, Africa wasn't colonized, you know, you didn't have the Greeks here, the Romans here, or the Americans here, or whatever. America wasn't even formed yet, or the English here, or whatever. None of that was happening. It was in Africa. And we also learned that the Suez Canal that separates Africa from the Middle East didn't even exist. That was actually built in to separate, you know, the Middle East from Africa. The Middle East and Africa were all one land mass. It was one thing until the colonizers came in and kind of, you know, carved things up and give different parts, different names to confuse you. Because if you look at the map in the Bible, there are different names than the map that we have now. And that was on purpose, so that we wouldn't study, you know, we would not put pieces together to put it all together. So the Holy Bible, as we know it, includes the history of the 3 Abrahamic religions. It includes the history of the Hebrews. It includes the history of the Muslims. It includes the history of the Christians. And so it behooves us to try to understand, how can you be fighting with your own brother? As you said, it's the same children that were sent somewhere else that came back. And when they came back, people wouldn't accept them. And so we're fighting with our own brothers and sisters, not understanding why, because as Imam says, we need to read. And if you don't read, you'll always be confused. So now that we've had the opportunity in this country to read, I noticed that my brothers and sisters don't want to read. You know what they want to do? They want to watch TikTok. They want to be on Facebook. They want to see videos. They don't want to read. Guys, you have to read, and they want to argue with you and don't know diddly. So I'm going to really push our brothers and sisters to read. You don't have to agree, but at least read. So the basis and the foundation of your arguments comes from knowledge. So with that said, I'm going to move over to Dr. Leo. Dr. Leo, tell us about your research and what you found about Blacks in the Bible.
I found out quite a bit. I found out that if you read Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 31, it's about this massive piece of earth. And when you research, you'll find out that this massive piece of earth is Africa. And they never tell us that unless we do research ourselves. And I also found out that these guys that they push today, such as Bill Gates and I guess the Amazon guy and all those guys, have a lot of money. But here is what I found in my research. That was a guy named Mansa Musa. He owned half of the world's gold, some 5 trillion. And he owned salt deposits and elephant tusks. You know how expensive those are. He also had 100 camels, 30,000 bars of gold, and he's worth, at that time, over 188 million. He also traveled in an entourage with 60,000 people. And the slaves wore silk and high fashion. And they gave the slaves and so forth, gave money to the poor and others. I could go on and on. This is it's such a rich Bible and a rich country, and so much wealth that is mind-blowing. And what these people are doing today and being touted as the richest man, they were nothing compared to our brothers over in the great land of Africa. I'll stop right now. I have so much I found out. It's just wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Leo. And as you know, we have several courses that we're rolling out that you and Dr. Willis have already stated you all want to be professors. And now that Bishop Dr. Reginald has spoken, I guess you'll be right there as well, because the thing is that if you know your history, then someone can't go and reverse it. Someone can't go wipe it out. I remember a couple of years ago being in Maryland, and I passed a McDonald's, and they were doing the right thing. They were celebrating African American History Month, and they had Martin Luther King up there, and he was straight up white skin. They made him as if he was a Latino man, because the owner for that McDonald's was, that was his heritage. And so he wants to encourage his people, but what he did was change the picture. So he was no longer an African American. He was now a Latino looking person. So we have to be so careful, because I don't know if you know this, but a lot of young people are turning away from Christianity, from Islam, from, the Hebrew, from everything. Why? Because if they find one fallacy in the Bible, they want to throw the whole thing away. And I say to them is that you have to read the Bible not only as a spiritual guide, but also in terms of history and historical context as to what was going on when, so you don't jump to conclusions. So if one person in the Bible, there was a woman, talking during the church service, and that one person said, "You woman, be quiet. You talk too much in church. Be quiet. And when your husband goes home, he'll tell you what happened, but you talk too much." Now, some folks who are, in my opinion, they're sexist anyway. They're macho, sexist. They hate women, or whatever the case may be, only to marry them, I guess, and have children. But women's minds don't mean anything. They have taken it to where women can't be in the pulpit. Women can't speak in church. Women can't this, women can't that. They make up all these things. And the poor women are so ignorant because they don't read, they don't study, they actually believe that stuff. And so, it's incumbent on us to read and to study, and not just read the Bible literally, but also look up the maps, look at the wars that were happening at that time. Look at the people who were in Israel, the Hebrew people. They were as black as tar. The people in Egypt were as black as tar. That is why Christ and Moses could travel to Egypt and be hidden there and lost there, because you couldn't tell them different from the people that were there. But what do? We don't read. We want to turn on the TV and watch the 10 Commandments and watch people like Elizabeth, I forgot her last name, Elizabeth Taylor, playing Cleopatra. Honey, I'm Cleopatra. Okay, let's get that straight. Okay, and you're Cleopatra. Let's get that straight. So my whole point is that the more we read, the more we expand our minds, is the more that we will know. And it's not that anyone is inferior to us. So the folks who are taking our history and changing the color and changing the facts, not that they're inferior to us. What it is that they're envious of us, they're jealous of us, and they want to steal our history. That's all. It doesn't make them inferior, it just makes them different. And so it is incumbent on us, it is our responsibility to stop and to learn our own history. And that's why we do that here at GODSU. Chaplain Thurman Brown, MACASACM Chaplain, please, your turn. Take us away.
Yes, no, you're absolutely correct. When I think it became real for me is when, I read about Jesus, and they talked about how when King Herod wanted to destroy all of the children, when he heard about the prophecy, and he wanted to go around and kill all the children, an angel rose and told Mary and Joseph to run to Egypt and hide until, the Herod problem could be dealt with. So you can't hide amongst Black people unless you look like the people you're hiding amongst. And when Jesus came back from there, the whole life, the whole 33 years of Jesus, it tells me he's a Black man, because everything that he went through, you see a Black man go through. And what really stands out for me is that when Jesus was carrying the cross, another Black man felt his pain so much that he said, "Listen, man, I'm gonna help you, because I see what's going on around you. You see these Romans and all the rest of these folks, these people will judge you." And we have empathy for others in that way, where we step in and say, "I want to help you." So I know that the brother had to be Black. So when I think about those things, I think about Ham and his children and who Ham is. So, I know that David and all of these guys are people who look like me. So, it's one thing to grow up in the 70s and the 80s and you're looking at Good Times and you see a white Jesus on the wall. But it's a whole entirely different thing once you begin to explore the stories and want to find out who are these people. And then you see the geographical areas and you match the people faces with what the historical account is today, and you look and you say, hey, you know, one of the, I guess, you know, mimicking people is the purest form of flattery. So I don't get mad at those folks who try to steal history because they don't have history, you know, but it comes a point to where we have to take back our history and say, well, you know what? This is why I don't have to walk around with my head down, because my face is on statues all over the world. And I embrace that. So I'll leave it there.
Beautiful. And one of the earliest Christian churches that was actually found in Ethiopia, Cairo, actually, Her Excellency Cairo actually went to Ethiopia and went in that church and sent us pictures back. And it's amazing, you know, for that history and for that to be real. So before the people would come from Europe to colonize Africa, Christianity was in Africa already, you know, and at that time there were no pictures put in the Bible. And what has happened since then is to basically control people's minds. They would take the Bible and put pictures of a European, a Caucasian person, and that's the only time they wouldn't allow the slaves to read the Bible. They allowed them to look at it, and they would see Master look like Christ. Christ is from God, so Master is God. So that was a way of keeping down the revolt. That was a way of keeping people in place. And but that's over. You know, that's over and done, because we know that we can live side by side with folks, because the folks who did that back in whatever, you know, the 1600s, the 1500s, 1400s are not the same people now. And that they also can learn. And if they learn the history, they will understand that we are their fathers and we're their mothers. And what you're supposed to do, respect and love your parents. And so all of civilization came from Africa. Everything was borrowed by the Greeks and the Romans and then renamed, refabricated. How many times have you gone into the dollar store and buy the same toilet paper that you buy in the Macy's? One costs $20, one costs 10 cents. It's the same thing. So what they've done is taken our same history, repackaged it, give it back to us again with their stamp on it. And we have to understand that God is the same God. God hasn't changed. That's the thing, is God hasn't changed, but he did tell us that there would be wolves in sheep clothing, that people would come as him and try to change and stir up history. But if we would study, if we would really take the scripture and then also take the maps and the geography and bibliographies and put it together, we will know the truth, because no one is trying to make it easy for you. You have to do the work. With that said, I'm going to ask that we go through our African diaspora, the GODSU African Diaspora Bible. So here's the Bible. It tells the history of GODSU. It goes back and forth and tells you all the things we have going on. We're going to update it and add all 8 of our chaplaincies in it. Right now, it just tells you the benefits. Next page, please. Look at this. This is the Bible that's going to be printed. This is the last one that we did. Oh my goodness. Oh, it does have the 7 chaplaincies in it. Great. Outstanding. We see our Assistant Dean, Dr. Danny. We see Ambassador Before, who will be on tomorrow evening for the Empower You Conference. We see His Excellency Dean Dr. Michael B. Roberts, Assistant Dean Dr. Cecilia, Dean Apostle Dr. Adrian, Reverend Dr. Winnie, Assistant Dean Dr. Janice. We see Assistant Dean Reverend Dr. Sandra, as well as Dr. Jesse Sharp. Let's turn the page. And this is how we differ from any other Bible. No other Bible has this anywhere in the world, because we put this together. This is our GODSU African Diasporan Bible. So you'll see the Queen of Sheba, who I'm dressed like today. By the way, there were female pharaohs. They don't want to tell you that, but they were female pharaohs. So that's why I'm dressed like this, to let you know that they were people looking like me back then. And the top 5 things we learn about Blacks in the Bible: all of mankind were derived from Noah and his sons. Moses lived 40 years as an Egyptian. Sources suggest that Christ was darker than is traditionally portrayed. In fact, that looked like my uncle. Don't it look like Uncle Court's? Oh, goodness. Yeah, sure does. All right. The area around Egypt was likely location of Eden, as well as I said before they built the Suez Canal, Africa and the Middle East. Everything was one landmass. And the Bible stresses that race is irrelevant in the eyes of God, but man has made it relevant in order to enslave and to mistreat. Any other page? Awesome. We also have civil rights, where we have Reverend Dr. Martin Luther. Who is that? That's your grandfather.
Yes.
Oh, and your great-grandfather, Dakar. There he is,
So
standing with
this
my...
is him here
Yes.
and here.
And looking just
next
like
to-
Dr. Willis, right next to all the great folks. Dr. Willis, can you talk about that?
Yes, this was actually, this picture was found in a history book that my aunt was teaching one day, and she was going through the book and saw that picture of the March on Selma, and right behind John Lewis, you could see John Lewis here, is my grandfather, and so this is very important because it led to the Civil Rights Voting Act. When people saw, that the marchers were attacked by dogs and water, and saw how violent it was, it changed the hearts of our legislators, and they passed the Voters' Right Acts. And so, as a result of that, we've been able to vote. And Martin Luther King, of course, was there, and so yeah, it was they called it Bloody Sundays because one of the times they were brutally attacked, and this led to change the hearts of people so that we could have equal voting rights for everyone. So my granddad was there in Selma.
Outstanding. And right beside us, we see the civil rights leader, His Excellency Ambassador Reverend Dr. Andrew Young, also a freedom fighter, and we actually spent time with him when we went to the Hope Global Forum, and there we are with him and his lovely wife. Former President Barack Hussein Obama, first acknowledging his Africanity, that he's African. First president who did that. Of course, we've seen Abraham Lincoln and some other questionable folks who definitely have some African blood in them, but he's the first one to claim it. So he's in there. And of course, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Jamaican freedom fighter, wonderful man of God. All right, we have former United States Secretary of State, Colin Luther Powell, who his son, Mike, and I went to Georgetown Law together. We used to eat together all the time. I was wondering, why everywhere he goes, those two guys following him? Well, those
With
were
glasses.
his,
They had
sunglasses. With sunglasses, right? They were his Secret Service. So he's of Jamaican descent. His parents are Jamaican. Colin Powell's is as well. And here we have civil rights, Thurgood Marshall, former Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States.
Mhm.
That's it. And I really want to draw attention to a great young man. His Excellency Dakar put this Bible together. Guys, please give him a hand. Put this Bible together. This Bible doesn't exist anywhere in the world, only here at Global Overday Seminary and University. We're at 8:24. We have 6 more minutes. So what I'm going to do is then turn it over to Dr. Willis, because he hasn't spoken as yet. So Dr. Willis, you are our premier historian when it comes to many things, including this. So I wanted to see if you had any notes you wanted to share with us.
Well, our other panelists have really done a great job laying the foundation for this topic. I thought about it. I said, boy, this is bold of our chancellor. We're not supposed to talk about politics and religion, right? So what she's done is now we've combined religion with race. So I said, boy, she's bold to create a tough topic like this. But I think it has to be talked about because, I as a man and as Bishop Benjamin talked, Dr. Benjamin talked earlier, and Chancellor Thurman Brown, and Dr. Leo Pickett, I felt all of those experiences as well, not growing up with a great sense of self-esteem because I didn't feel like there were enough, at least at that time, it looked like blanks in the Bible. But as I grow and I'm learning and I'm understanding, and like Dr. Leo Pickett said, the crust of it is really in Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 31, that gives us hints of, as Dr. Diane was saying, bringing up the map and seeing where, Cush is and, other areas that are mentioned in the Bible. We can kind of home in and see that actually the Garden of Eden is in Africa, and is being proven each and every day about our history or mishistory. I grew up thinking that we were celebrating. We celebrated Columbus Day when I was growing up, and we always did it. I think it was the second Tuesday, I think in October, or something like that. And but it turns out that Christopher Columbus never made it to America. But what they did is they created stories, because when the Italians came over to help, they were sort of like the Mexicans, if you will, back in the day, as far as fruits and vegetables to be picked. It was the Italians, the poor Italians. And so they wanted to give them something to be proud of. So they made up this story about Christopher Columbus. But he never landed in America. He landed somewhere close here. It was in the Bahamas. But we're finding out this, and so we're updating the history. So today we say Native American history, and that's important. And I would say it in the context of European history. When I took American history and European history, and I remember one of the TAs, teaching assistants, always talked about the Europeans whenever they conquered and made colonies, they would come back with history books and share that with the little, kids who were taking history, and then whether they were the French, whether they were the British, and they made them feel good about themselves. And so I think that that's important, that we continue to grow and expand. I'm learning every day and working to become, an expert in the area that we're talking about. I don't feel that today, but I think that by having this topic as a seed and planting the seed and allowing it to grow, that this will be great. I just wanted to share with you from this book. I'll just be like 30 seconds or so. The Black Presence in the Bible, Uncovering the Hidden Ones. And it says that the Bible, as Bishop Dr. Benjamin mentioned, the Bible is a multicultural book. This statement sounds controversial, but from an archaeological perspective, historical perspective, the text proves it to be true. In 2013, this controversy was played on the media when viewers of the Bible miniseries was set up that featured Samson, played by a black man. A second controversy occurred when the Fox News broadcaster confidently declared that Santa Claus and Jesus were white. Yet a lot of people researched the original text and found to be a dark man of complexion. And so that's something that I just really realized. And so as we continue to grow and expand, and I think we continue to have topics like this, we can help each other to grow and expand. And so Black history is really 365 days a year. It's not just February, but this is a great topic. I'm glad that you brought it up, and it's planted some seeds for some, and it's reinforced the information that others have shared. So with that being said, I pass it back to you.
Thank you so much. And all of this is put together through the Holy Spirit. Every panel on here, we have 22 panels, classes, interviews, and God has blessed me to put all of them together. And even the people, it was direct anointing and appointing for each person based on their purpose and based on what the Holy Spirit told me. So we're at that point at 8:30. So what I'm going to do now is thank each and every one.
Thank you.
Awesome panelists.
Thank you, Ben.
You guys did outstanding, giving your perspective. And I'm going to give you guys, before we close, 30 seconds to give your closing remarks on Blacks in the Bible, starting with Bishop Dr. Reginald. 30 seconds.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And thank you all for listening. And I thank God for letting us know that we are not only unique, but we are important, that we come from a rich history. And so I just thank God for this opportunity to share with you all tonight. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Reverend Dr. Leo.
I have a couple of things, but I'll just cut it down to one as you asked. The Queen of Sheba, you've heard a lot about her. She was very wealthy. She gave Solomon 9,060 pounds of gold just to hear his wisdom.
Oh,
That's education.
yes.
Very much so. You said you had two other things. Go ahead, Dr. Leo.
This one is a poem. It's short. It says, I shared it with His Excellency Dakar a few weeks ago. It says, when a bird is alive, it eats ants. When the bird has died, ants eat it. One tree can be made into 1,000,000 matchsticks, but only one match is needed to burn 1,000,000 trees. Circumstances can change at any time. Don't devalue or hate anyone in this life. You may be powerful, but time is more powerful than you.
Great words of wisdom. Thank you so much, Dr. Leo. Chaplain Thurman Brown, MACSC.
Yeah.
And talk to us.
Well, I always think like Job is one of the persons in the Bible, the story that I love to read because it reminds me of being Black. Because I know the devil is walking to and fro, petitioning, the Creator to bring some mischief into our lives. And that's why we catch so much grief, because he's always trying to get us to deny that God is God. So when I think about who I am in the context of history, I always think about it in the context of Job. And I look at the catastrophe and all of the stuff that takes place in our lives. And Job is my analogy. It helps me to filter things out and helps me to understand why I am unique.
Well, thank you so much, panelists, and thank you so much, Chancellor, for this topic. And it helps us to continue to grow and expand and share the knowledge. It's one thing to know it, but the other piece of it is to share it. Dr. Miles Monroe said the richest places in the world are not the diamond mines in Africa or the platinum mines in Africa, but it's the graves where people have taken their thoughts, ideas, and then share them. So thank you for sharing your thoughts and ideas, and we've made each other better and stronger as a result. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we have a couple of videos to share while this panel is still going. You can share the two videos, Dr. His Excellency.
Do you know why they won't teach us the history of Egypt? After you have shackled and enslaved a people, branded, castrated, lynched, burned, and tortured them, you called them 3/5 of a man, subspecies, an ape, a monkey, and a general inferior creation. How can we then admit that they are our teachers and the ones who gave us civilization? How can we admit that we descended from Greece and from Rome, and that Greece and Rome stole everything they knew from Egypt? How to admit that? There's no room in a white supremacist psyche for Black contributions to civilization or world progress. This reaches too far into the consciousness of the so-called objective white scholars of academia and their black-skinned counterparts. This is like asking a Nazi to accept the Jewish origins of Nazism and of Hitler, if that were the case. They couldn't accept it if it were true any more than the white supremacists can accept the African origins of civilization, the African origins of Christianity, the African origins of science, the African origins of everything. Philosophy originated in Egypt. Math originated in Egypt. Theology originated in Egypt. Philosophy originated in Egypt. Letters originated in Egypt. Everything started there. They were as ancient to the Romans as the Romans now are to us. And that's what we don't really understand because we live now. We don't really understand that the pyramids are 5,000 years old and that the Romans only date back 2,500 years. Like, really think about that. Because that's the world we live in, a world of lies. I'm reading from J. California Cooper's book, The Wake of the Wind. I am Africa. I am a place. I am a state of mind. Hundreds of years ago, my children lived free. We had our skirmishes within my shores, even small wars that did not disturb my great and sprawling land. We were not perfect, but we never lift our shores to seek to destroy or rob any other culture or people, to steal the fruit of their land or mines and leave the land and people ravaged. Nor did we seek to steal any people's love of themselves, nor tell other people they were ignorant savages and inferior, while we were superior, as the white ones said to us. They lied so much and long they began to believe it themselves. They cried God with their mouths while holding a knife in one hand and a gun in the other, slicing and firing at vibrant life. They also brought with them other diseases, including endless greed, envy, and hate. Our nations changed. They killed for land, women, or gold, spreading their savageness to all others. And now
We have a second one that just talks a little bit about Africa a little bit more, and as I said before, the people back then are not the people now. So you do have enlightened folks who are, willing to share the truth. Next one, please.
Let me show you something. This is the world map, and this is Rome. What if I told you that from here to here, it's 6,400 kilometers, but from here to here, which only looks like half the size, is 7,200. The continent of Africa has been shown smaller than it actually is. What if I told you that Greenland was only this size? Or Russia was this size? Or the US and Canada were much smaller? You know what? This is the real map. Look at Sweden, Finland, and Norway. They're much smaller now. Or Greenland is tiny. Maybe it wasn't practical, but it seems unfair towards Africa. Why haven't we been told this in school?
All right, guys. So I don't know. How many of you actually knew that about the map? How many of you knew that about your history? That's what we do here at GODSU, is that we believe that you need the whole truth of who you are, who everyone is, so then you can, make the right decisions. And not feel inefficient, not feel small, not feel unimportant, not feel like you should be proud of who you are. It doesn't take away from anyone else. It does not. Being who you are and being proud of your history doesn't take away from anybody else. But if color is so irrelevant, why do people keep changing? Why do people keep changing history? You should think about that. Love yourself, guys.
And now we have our outstanding global workers. You can see on the screen, they did phenomenal work to elevate GODSU. And if you would like to be an outstanding worker, every week you can submit your outstanding work and you have the opportunity of being featured. So first, we have being an outstanding worker. Assistant Dean, Dr. Daniel Forte. He helped with our Junior Ambassador program. And we have helped with public relations for GODSU. We have Christian Fendrick Chaplin. She's the CEO and founder of Clearly Christian Inc. Please take us away.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Kristen Fenrick, and I'm the founder and CEO of Clearly Christian Inc. and the founder of the program called The Launch. And we help businesses get started. I work with entrepreneurs. I'm a speaker, author, coach, and entrepreneur, and I work with other entrepreneurs to package in their products and services. One of the main things that I've seen over the last year since we've been in COVID-19 is really looking at people being able to take their expertise and package it in a way where they can take it out to the marketplace. And that is what we do. We provide graphic design services, we provide advertisement, marketing, all of the different things that you need in order for people to know who you are, what you do, right? And how they can be able to purchase your products and services from you. So again, my name is Kristen Fenrick, and I'm founder and CEO of Clearly Kristen Inc. and the creator of the launch. If you're looking to get started, if you have a company already that you already have, and maybe you're looking to launch some new products this year, reach out to me. You can reach me at Kristen@clearlykristen.com. And that's spelled with a K. So Klearly, Kristen, KRISTEN.com. So Kristen@clearlykristen.com. You can also visit my website, which is www.clearlykristen.com. And you know what I have to say about GODSU is this. This is an amazing platform. It's a platform that both empowers other business owners. It's a platform that speaks the word of God, which that is what we're all here for, right? And it also allows other entrepreneurial people to have like-minded networking relationships. You know, being in business, a lot of times you can feel like you're on an island and you're all by yourself. But when you have an organization like GODSU and you have other ambassadors and other individuals who have businesses that are like-minded in the things that they're doing, it gives you a community, and community is everything. You know, community is the new currency. That's the new currency. So that's my gem for you today. Make sure you reach out and see some of the things that GODSU is doing, because community is where it's at, and we all want to feel and be a part of something. And this is a great organization to be a part of. So thank you so much for having me today, Dakar.
Oh, wonderful. Glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
Wonderful. You have a nice yellow jacket as well. GODSU jacket. Also wearing a GODSU jacket, we have helping at administrative work for GODSU, our Assistant Dean, Reverend Dr. Sean M. Nicholson, chaplain. He's the founder, pastor of Beautiful Temple Ministries, managing principal at SMN Square.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you here on this outstanding worker episode here. I am, as you mentioned, Dr. Sean M. Nicholson, chaplain. I am a third generation entrepreneur. And as you also mentioned, I'm the founder and pastor of Beautiful Temple Ministries, where we exalt God in worship, we equip the saints with the word, and we evangelize to the world. I'm also the managing principal of SMN Square Incorporated, where we specialize in helping individuals build, or rather give them the building blocks to success and sustainability in their businesses. We do a lot of leadership development, organizational development, strategic planning, and we focus on different sectors such as startups and corporate, nonprofit, and even faith-based organization. We have something that we call the AED, and it's like just like when you shock people back to life. Well, our AED model is to assist businesses to encourage entrepreneurship and to develop ecosystem builders. So that's what we're all about, and to spread the love, to spread the passion, to create builders or entrepreneurs throughout different sectors so that they can be self-sustaining and build wealth as well as legacy. As far as GODSU, I am just elated to be a part of GODSU University. This has been a tremendous journey for me, being able to acquire the chaplaincy credentials, and then even to be helping with some of the behind the scene things and with the honors programs and all. And I will be an advocate for GODSU until you know, because it's just an awesome opportunity to be able to share. What I like about it is that it is a networking platform, if you will. I've met so many wonderful, wonderful people across the nation that are doing some great things. And it's good to have like-minded and kindred spirits in your corner that you can just pick up the phone or shoot an email to say, hey, can I run this by you? And just the awesome talks and the sessions like you're doing here now, it's just been a blessing to me. So I am grateful for GODSU University and Seminary. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. We're very grateful for you as well. We have helping with administrative work for GODSU, our Dean, Lakeisha Richards Chaplain. She is the CEO of L.J. Richards, LLC. She's Assistant Dean of Administrative Work to the Chancellor, and she's a co-host on our God Success Teach and Pray. We have Administrative Work, our Dean Eva J. Brown, Chaplain. She's a former president of Ministers, Wives, and Widows of Fredericksburg and vicinity. She is a GODSU Assistant Dean of Chaplaincy. She is a co-host on our God Success Teach and Pray. Director, Her Excellency Cairo D.R. Eubanks, UNCSR CLC CEC Chaplain, Miss Black, Florida, USA, CEO of Cairo Speaks and Cairo Writes. She's a director of administration to GODSU, board advisor, and our co-director of our junior ambassador program at GODSU. She's a representative of New Future Foundation, Inc., NFFI, on the United Nations Youth Representative Committee. We also have Miss Black Florida Talented Teen, the Miss Black USA title holder for the Sunshine State, Sudan A.L. Eubanks. She's the founder of Reading with Royalty. She's the CEO of Sudan Dolls, Games, and Apps. She's a co-host on our God Success Teach and Pray. We have Vice Chancellor, His Excellency Dr. Willis Eubanks, Chaplain, CEO of Take Action Now IT, Inc., doing business as Tanit. He's a GODSU Vice Chancellor and Board Advisor to GODSU. We have our GODSU Chancellor, the Right Honorable Her Excellency Reverend Dr. Diane Moore Eubanks, JD Chaplain. She's Miss Senior Florida USA, Miss Senior Jamaica Universe, and she's Miss Senior United States. She's Senior Vice President of Invita Financial Network. She's a founder and co-host of our God Success Teach and Pray and our GODSU Wednesday Icon Talk. We have our interim Vice Chancellor, Her Excellency Dr. Arlene Span, Chaplain, who is the founder of Arlene Sweats. She's a GODSU Board Advisor and NFFI Jamaica Board Member. She's our GODSU Senior Dean of Administration. We have the following helping with public relations for GODSU: Mr. Bruce Merling. He's the former CEO of Bruce Merling Public Relations, Celebrity Speakers, and Entertainment. And he's Laurie's SRO. We have Chandra D. Moss, Chaplain. She's a retired Air Force veteran. We have our Assistant Dean, Reverend Dr. Sandra Norris Deckard, Chaplain, who is the First Lady and co-pastor of our Greenhouse International Church. She's the owner and physician of Genesis Health and Clinic and Spa, our GODSU Assistant Dean of Chaplaincy Program, and she's a board member to GODSU. Did Barry, she's a global visionary, brand architect, radio personality, and network builder. Our Vice Chancellor, Reverend Dr. Alethea Davis, Chaplain, who is the CEO and founder of Dior to Live in Overflow. We have our God Success Teach and Pray co-host, and she's also our board advisor and dean of our chaplaincy program. We have Dr. Carlene Randolph, Chaplain. She's the CEO of Coin, Goals, and Chiism, LLC. Dr. Jennifer Baker Penn, Chaplain, who's the CEO, founder of Wounded Combat Veterans of America and Wounded Female Veterans of America. Also, We Come as One. Following two helped with donations to GODSU. our Dr. Rodney G. Hawkins chaplain. He's the CEO of Islamic Services, Inc., as well as Linda Clemmings, who's the CEO of Sisterpreneurs, Inc. Also, myself, I helped with administrative work. I am Director, His Excellency Dakar Eubanks Chaplain. I am the CEO of Dakar Marketing Tools, Director of Operations at GODSU. I am a co-director of our Junior Ambassador Program, as well as a host, MC, and director for both our God Success Teach and Pray and Wednesday Icon Talk. Here at Dakar Marketing Tools, we help you with all your graphic design, video editing. We have our Zoom for Profits course that you can register for to up your game on Zoom. Also teach you how you can make a profit doing Zoom. And also for our outstanding workers, I would like to extend a special appreciation to GODSU leaders that we mentioned today who volunteered many hours. We especially thank those who provided actual names, emails, phone numbers of referrals to GODSU. And GODSU is grateful for the opportunity to add workers of God to our database, as well as register for educational programs. So if you enjoyed our Wednesday Icon Talk and hearing from our outstanding global workers, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share, and stay tuned. We do have some more messages that follow. And if you want to be an outstanding worker, you can see the information on the screen for how you can become one. So thank you very much and look forward to seeing you next week. Next week, our episode will be Women in the Pulpit. And this is part 1 of a 2-part series. Our moderator is Bishop Paulette Brown Chaplain. Our panelists are Reverend Dr. Margaret Chappell, Chandra D. Moss Chaplain, Dean Eva J. Pierce Brown Chaplain. We have Queen Mother, Her Excellency Dr. Delois Blakely Chaplain, and our interim Vice Chancellor, Her Excellency Dr. Arlene Span Chaplain. So look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I want you all to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And stay tuned. We have some more messages that follow. I'd love to see you tomorrow morning, as we do have our God Success Teach and Pray every day. And I look forward to seeing you next week on our Wednesday Icon Talk. Thank you.
Global Ovid Day Seminary and University GODSU is a 501c3 interfaith e-learning Global Florida Department of Education Commission of Independent Studies approved degree issuing religious institution of higher learning under Florida Statute 1005.061F in Miramar, Florida, a suburb of Fort Lauderdale suburbs. Our curricula include programs like our theology diploma, bachelor's, master's, and PhD programs, which are designed for students called to the ministries of teaching and preaching. Program enrollees include pastors, evangelists, missionaries, and laypersons. Our additional courses: Entrepreneurial Studies, premier self-development courses on wealth building. We also offer a mini course for youth, the Junior Ambassador Youth Public Speaking, to gain professional and personal skills. Chaplaincy Diploma, Love and Spiritual, Interfaith, and Christian programs. Chaplains are trained, certified leaders attached to either a religious and/or non-religious institution or organization. Cybersecurity IT courses. Our licensed instructor has a 95% pass rate compared to the 30% national average for CompTIA accredited courses, such as Security Plus and Network Plus. 40% of our alum who've gone through our prestigious GODSU honors programs have also previously matriculated through their earned doctorate programs. Our alum include physicians, ambassadors, statesmen and stateswomen, icons and billionaires, religious leaders, titans in business, global philanthropists such as Ambassador of Ghana to the United States, His Excellency Dr. Bafor A.J. Bewa, Ambassador of Nigeria to the United States, His Excellency Dr. Sylvanus Musafor, billionaire builder and dean, His Excellency Dr. Michael V. Roberts, former Maritime Minister, Government of Nigeria, Honorable Dr. Leke Olawale. Our world-class and esteemed professors include Attorney Her Excellency Reverend Dr. Diane Moore Eubanks, PhD, Chancellor, Physician Dr. Eric Bizetsky, Clinical Health and Nutrition and GODSU Medical Expert, Physician Her Excellency Rhoda Makinde, PhD, Chief Medical Doctor, GODSU Medical Missions, Dean Michael V. Roberts, JD, PhD, Dean of Entrepreneurship Studies, Dean Kyra Eubanks, Dean of Junior Ambassador, Professor Willis Eubanks, PhD, Dean of Cybersecurity Program, Professor Imam Dr. Talib Sharif, Professor Interfaith Program and Chaplaincy, Professor Reverend Dr. William Blake, Theology Program Curriculum Development, Professor His Excellency Dakar, Ethical and Successful Marketing Techniques, Entrepreneurial Studies.